My name is Morgenstern, and my documentary is called CHESHIRE, Ohio. And CHESHIRE, Ohio is the story of a village in southeastern Ohio that was completely bought out and bulldozed by a polluting coal-fired power plant. I first learned of this story when I read about it on the front page of the New York Times, and this was in 2002, and it really captured my attention. I thought, my God, that's compelling that a corporation, a big company is actually just buying out an entire centuries-old village, and I thought that could be potentially a very interesting story to film. But I wanted to go down and see for myself, so I flew down, and it was visually unbelievable, the size of the plant in relation to the small village right next to it. The people in the town were great storytellers, and they were very open, and so I got hooked in. I think as a storyteller, it was a really amazing and interesting opportunity to be able to go back over a decade later to the same location and cover a whole new layer that also represents in a different way the problem with our reliance on coal-fired power as an energy source. You know, over 10 years ago, the problem was the emissions coming from the stack, blue haze, people getting sick from the haze, asthmatic problems, stuff in the air. And then here we are over a decade later, we're learning a lot about coal ash and how that is a big toxic pollution problem coming from these plants. So it's not just the emissions in the air, it's the coal ash that's also a big problem, falling into our water, into the ground. And so you have that going on now, 10 years later, and workers who are getting sick because they weren't properly protected by the plant. So you have, all these layers that illustrate the effects of using coal as an energy source. And I thought, wow, that's really compelling, that's really interesting. To be able to return 10 years later and have this whole other story that's taking place in the same town, that's connected to that area, that's connected to that plant, it was just a really incredible opportunity to sort of complete the film. I think every documentary filmmaker, feels that way, that, one, it's received as an artful, entertaining, informative, powerful, moving film, but that it also can be used to change policy, to motivate individuals to move away from using coal-fired power, to put pressure on our elected officials. We're dealing with climate change. So this is a very intimate story of a town. And I actually hope that people will connect to that, because it's very intimate, but really it's connected to these really enormous themes of climate change.